Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, earthlings, peeplings, everywhere, aliens. We live in hope, only friendly ones. Firstly, thank you all very much for liking and subscribing, supporting the channel. This is our little corner of the internet where we can all have our free speech, which I have said so many times. I think most people get it, what free speech is, but an awful lot of people don't. I think some people feel free speech is only when someone says something they agree with. It's actually really, really difficult to defend the right of someone to speak when you don't agree with anything they say. Quoting Voltaire again, I defend your right to free speech to the death, even if I disagree with every word you say. It's a really, really difficult thing to embrace. It's easier said than done. I know, I've struggled with it. But today we're going to have a conversation about what could bring the monarchy down. And I think some people are going to be pretty surprised at what I'm going to say. It's not going to be Meghan and Harry. And it's not going to be Andrew and Fergie or Epstein. It's going to be something far, far more surprising, because it's the type of thing that makes me internally, just a little bit of me, turn away from the monarchy when I hear this type of thing. And I genuinely believe this could, and I'm speaking to all staunch monarchists here, but anyone who might have said something along these lines, be really careful with this, because this is what will bring the monarchy down. Anybody who believes that no one is allowed to question the monarchy, no one is allowed to examine, no one is allowed to bring up uncomfortable topics, what we have to do is bow, worship, accept the monarchy as pure perfection, never criticize, curtsy, bow, doff our caps, and move along, people. Nothing to see here. That will bring the monarchy down, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Which, by the way, I'm entitled to as much as anyone else. Last night, the live was frantic and just opened the floodgates of conversation, and I loved it. And there were so many of your comments, and I wanted to really highlight every single one of them, but I just couldn't. It was like a waterfall. And we're going to do that again on Friday. And we're going to see, what the developments have been with the royal family. Now, I see today that friends of Prince William have said he is going to take away Harry and Meghan's titles when he is king. They're gone, they're dusted, and I believe that, 100%. So Megsy, let's see how your marketing plan and gate crashing to things works once that's happened. Now, of course, I can imagine there's been reluctance over the years for anyone in the royal family to introduce a system where royal titles can be removed, including Prince. We had much discussion about letters patent, acts of parliament, stuff like that. Now, I fully support Prince William's idea, if indeed this is true, and I do believe it, that he wants to create a legal mechanism where when someone with a title has behaved dishonourably, to say the least, that those titles can be removed quite quickly. And I support him in this because it's basically going to put them on their best behaviour, isn't it? If there is a continuance of the divine right of God and all that, then a lot of people are going to think, well, you can't take the title away from me. I'm going to behave just how I like, and what you going to do about it? Which, there might have been a couple of people. I think she was called Maggie. She was called something or other. There was this American woman who married some stupid prince once upon a time, and has basically just gone about, doing what the hell she likes whilst trading off her title. Of course, there's the whole gigantic Andrew situation. Yes, I have seen they edited the website. Isn't it pathetic that they've changed Andrew's title from the Duke of York to Prince Andrew? And now, who was it? I think again it might have been Prince William, friends have said. I'm not sure if it was actually. I can't remember who it was, but somebody did make the point that I'd made a few days ago, that although a royal ducal title is, you know, way up there, especially to younger people, American youngsters, they are going to identify with words prince and princess far more than duke. They don't really understand what a duke or a duchess is. But the prince and princess, in a lot of people's minds, whether it is technically correct or not, or the order of precedence, it sounds grander than duke. But someone's clearly got the password to that website, haven't they? But they don't want to edit fully and delete pages or remove them from the working area, create a new web page and say they could have historical people who were working members of the royal family. Harry and Meghan at one point were, for a nanosecond she was, but they were. Harry, of course, was born into it, had up to meeting the worst nightmare of his life, had been a working royal for many years. So yes, by all means, have a separate page where you would have all of the previous working royals. And that could actually be kind of fascinating. I mean, it could really go back in time and they could put up some interesting factoids about people in the royal family way back, perhaps unsung heroes. And they could include everything, you know, warts and all. I think that would be great. But on the current working members, they're not working for the royal family. So why are they there as working members? It really makes no sense. It beggars belief. So the live, right? Lots of subjects that came up, and I am working my way through the comments. And I welcome all comments. I don't delete comments, whether you agree, whether people are for the monarchy, against the monarchy, like Andrew, hate Andrew. It does seem a little odd to me that nobody else is being named over this Epstein thing. That does seem really odd to me. That's just me. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. I also, and this is a fact, I am a sinner and I am not perfect. And I am in no position to sit in judgment upon anybody else. Full stop. There's no but at the end of that sentence, just full stop. I'm just a dickhead. I am not perfect, far from perfect. And I just can't. I can discuss subjects, I can look at things, I can wonder what's gone on, I can talk about it on YouTube or in person. But what I can't do is sit there like I'm up on some throne of perfection, casting aspersions on anybody for anything. I honestly don't know. It astounds me how many members of the press are so perfect, apparently. God, I wonder what it feels like to be that perfect. And I'm not saying that it's a difficult thing to avoid doing what Andrew does or has allegedly done, or Epstein or anything like that. I'm just saying, I mean, I see it with all sorts of articles. Just it appears to me that members of the press are just, well, my God, they're too perfect for words, aren't they? Us mere mortals down here. I'm going to wander around the house. I've come to do some bits and pieces in the house so we can have a chat. So yeah, the live, that was kind of wonderful. And to see so many new people commenting and all the different subjects. I really, really, really detest the expression, let her rest in peace, you know, about Princess Diana. Princess Diana was huge. Princess Diana was the Princess of Wales. Princess Diana was a member of history. There is no erasing her. There is no deleting her. And I get fed up hearing that nonsense. I'll tell you an expression I really hate is do better, try to do harder, work harder. You can leave those comments. I'm not going to delete them. That's your free speech. I just really think they're horrible. They make me gag kind of things. What does it mean? Do better, work harder. It so reminds me of that Christopher Boozy who makes my skin crawl. Again, these perfect people. I'd love to meet some of them, wouldn't you? As for the rest of us, in our little corner of the internet, we're allowed to question things. I mean, if people are only allowed to doff their cap, curtsy, bow, move along, and never question and never critique any member of the royal family, whoever they may be, well, isn't that how Andrew's gotten into a pickle? Isn't that how this has come about, where people have been not able to really, I'm going back years and years and years, not able to criticise, critique. I've even had people who've commented who say they're staunch monarchists, just sort of saying, shut up, stop talking. You're not a true monarchist if you keep saying these things. How can you question? Well, again, be careful with that, because there's an awful lot of people out there who have questions. They have many valid questions on many topics, not just on Andrew, about lots of things. And if you just tell people to shut up, be silent, move along, that, I believe, will bring about the end of the monarchy pretty damn quickly. Oh yeah, I'll look for that book while we're here. Nothing is scripted here, guys. Nothing. So you're just going to have to bear with me. I've got it upstairs. And I've got Lady C's book. Because the other thing I hate is when a narrative, not creating, not controlling, when a narrative has actually happened with the royal family, where, for example, somebody might say, where's that book? Here it is. I've got that one, and I think Lady C's Queen Mother book is on the boat. I'll bring this one back. When a narrative has been created, for example, if I or any other YouTuber raises a subject like, I want to talk about what happened to Princess Diana. I mean, again, I'm not going to delete comments, but occasionally people come along and they've just got the narrative, drink driver seatbelt, drink driver seatbelt. Well, it was a bit more complicated than that. It was a bit more complicated. Or when people are talking about, well, just any subject with the royal family, and because a narrative has been pushed so hard by the press, people just go, well, that's the way it was, done and dusted. And no one wants to explore it. Well, I want to explore lots of stuff. I want to look into lots of stuff, whether it's convenient or inconvenient. That's part of being a monarchist. Well, that's the kind of monarchist I am. I accept the system for its failings. I accept that members of the British royal family are human beings and they're fallible. They are not perfect. I don't think any of them actually pretend they are, which is quite stunning why some supporters feel they are. I think that if the monarchy is to survive and people truly, truly want to support them, then people must be allowed to talk about them. I mean, the king is not a benevolent despot. He's not, no one's gonna get sent to the Tower of London. No one's gonna get their head cut off for questioning, for wanting answers about whatever has happened with the royal family. Sometimes rumours actually grow that are, a lot of the time this happens to them, there'll be like fallacies and there'll be rumours that just spread like wildfire and go down in history as a belief. For example, I was fascinated to find out years ago that when Edward VIII abdicated, I always thought he was the one that was skint and the royal family sort of got to keep everything. Quite the reverse. George and Elizabeth were positively broke because when George V died, he left all his money to the majority of his money and properties to his eldest son, his heir apparent. And then, of course, David abdicated, but he still owned private properties like Balmoral, like Sandringham. And then suddenly he abdicates and he takes all that wealth with him. And this is from the horse's mouth. The Duke of Edinburgh, the now Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Edward, did a whole programme on it. I'll put a link in, I'll pin a link so you guys can listen to this. And so basically Elizabeth and George were faced with having to choose what they could afford. You know, can we afford to keep all of the royal properties? And there were a lot more. I think they had Osborne House in those days. And I think there was another property that Jacob Rees-Mogg now owns. I think that might have been one of their private properties. And so Elizabeth and George basically had to get mortgages and stuff like that. And they were pretty skint and build up from there. So this sort of narrative, this myth that when David abdicated, he was quite skint and he had to keep coming back for money, it's not quite the case. And so Elizabeth and George bought Sandringham off him, I think, and they bought Balmoral off him. So, but I mean, these myths go down in history. The British monarchy does more than pay for itself. It's not, I mean, the tourism and the spillover into other industries that are not connected, it's kind of an unquantifiable amount. But for example, when the Princess of Wales wears an outfit, boom, they call it the Kate effect, don't they? It happens with other members of the royal family. The work that they do for not only helping to raise money for good causes, but also highlighting problems, it's phenomenal. The buildings, the history, this is a 1,000-year institution. And I don't believe that Andrew's scandal or Harry and Meghan's behaviour can bring down the monarchy in itself. It's certainly damaging it badly. But I believe that what will bring the monarchy down is like I say, this sort of snobbery, if you like, where people are just not allowed to talk, to question. Oh, you are disloyal, you must be silent, you must not, you know. And I think that can actually create this myth that maybe there's a big organisation behind YouTube channels who are monarchists like me. And people think, oh, you know, we've got some big boss who phones us up and says, push this narrative today. Well, trust me, there's not. Well, I think a lot of you know, there's nothing like that going on here with me. Nobody talks to me about anything. Except you guys. We're, like I say, we're in our own little corner of the internet. And also, if any of you guys get in the comments, you know, someone says to you, shut up, stop talking. No, don't ever let anybody tell you to shut up, stop talking, stop asking questions. Never stop asking questions. No one's allowed to do that. And I mean, I also see it when it comes down to pedantics, legal pedantics, or how you spell someone's title and stuff like that. I feel that if people push that and they say, you know, these are the rules and this, that and the other, that can come across as really looking down on someone who doesn't know how the rules work. And also the whole monarchical system only exists because the British public and Commonwealth realms want it. The day that comes that the majority don't want it, it will cease to exist. And the majority of people don't actually want to curtsy and bow and go in for I don't believe. I think if that is forced down people's throats, I think that's going to be the quickest route for it all to end. I have many questions about many things, and I want to keep talking. I mean, Harry and Meghan, they are just paling into insignificance now. They're nothing. What is she? She's a freaking, I don't even know what she is. She's a jam maker. She's a loser. She's nothing. She's making a fool of herself on a world stage. She's trading off titles from a 1,000-year-old institution that she has publicly shat all over. So, you know, she's going to be gone soon. And her and Harry, I think, are the least of their worries. I think they're very busy, the royal family. I think they're getting on doing their stuff. So I don't really think we'll just have the odd laugh at their expense, shall we? Because they're a joke, Harry and Meghan. I'm not sure I believe that there are big dark forces trying to take down the monarchy? Perhaps, yeah, there are in some quarters. I honestly believe that any type of presidential system would be way, way, way more expensive. I'm also quite shocked at a lot of the journalists. You know, this thing where Andrew has apparently asked his protection officer, can you find dirt on Virginia Giuffre? I am shocked at the naivety and the innocence of, supposedly, of journalists going, oh, that would never happen. That's shocking. Well, in my experience, that kind of shit happens all the time, everywhere, every day. That's the reality of it. To suddenly feel shocked. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised at all if, you hear from a conclusion of that, oh no police officer would ever do anything wrong. No, of course not. We're all above reproach because we're perfect and sinless. Yeah, of course. Well, who can blame them in this day and age of cancel culture? Fucking hell. Oh, pitchforks are well sharp and torches are lit, aren't they? Of course. Can you imagine a protection officer? You've got your principal who says, can you look into that? They're going to do it. I reckon they're going to do it. Oh, someone else in the comments said, the king is going to sue you for slander. How dare you suggest? I'll suggest what I bloody well like. I seriously doubt the king's going to sue me. Are you going to sue me, king? No, I don't think so. What, in my little tiny corner of the internet? Oh, for goodness sake. Pull yourself together. Pull your petticoats together. So yeah, I've got this book, which actually, as I was saying last night, corroborates some things that Lady C said in her book. I've got quite a few books. I've got, those of you that have been with me a while, I've got Spying and the Crown, which this is a fabulous book, fantastic. And it's really interesting how the royal family, who of course are, the head of state is in charge of MI6 and MI5. There's loads of stories in this book about that, and I just love it. It's so James Bond, and I love the picture. I love the picture of the Queen there on the front, bless her. And I don't like that people can spin a narrative and say things about her when she's not here to defend herself. And I was alive, not for her entire reign, but she was my monarch all of my life, majority of my life. So I do remember things, and I don't like it when the press or certain PR companies try spinning the narrative to change things and then tell me that I didn't remember things the right way. And I think, no, I'm sorry, I do remember that. I actually remember exactly where I was when it happened. So don't start telling me it happened in a different way. I'll tell you one thing I remember. They were going to launch BBC News 24. It used to be in England anyway. When it got to midnight or something and they finished broadcasting, ITV would play God Save the Queen with a video. BBC would play, I think, just God Save the Queen with audio, and then transmission would stop. And then it would start again the next morning. So we're talking 1997, and they've been going on and on and on, advertising, saying, we're going to launch BBC 24, we're going to launch BBC 24. And I thought, oh, okay, so that's a new thing. We've not had that. And I went to sleep on my sofa with the TV on, because I used to do it all the time, and it would just go off. So I went to sleep, TV was on, and I was woken up by the TV about 4 o'clock in the morning. And they said Princess Diana has been killed in a car crash. So that's where I was. And it was I was watching the BBC, and I'm sure I remember them saying BBC News 24. And I thought, wow, what a coincidence that was launched the night that happened. Now, I don't know if it was or not, but then I checked the wiki page years and years ago, and it said, no, BBC News wasn't 24 hours until months after her death. And I thought, but I was woken up by the TV, and I remember that. Am I remembering that wrong? Or is a wiki editor messing with me? I don't know. What else have I got here? I've got this. Patrick Jeffson's Shadows of a Princess. I haven't read all of that because I thought, I've got, Lady C's book there. That's going to go down like a bucket of snot as far as historical documents go, isn't it? It's just going to age worse and worse and worse. And I've got various other books on the royal family. I mean, I've been watching them. I remember where I was at various times, and I don't like it when I see pundits or people trying to spin new narratives and say, no, that shit didn't happen. I think, yeah, I remember how it happened, and why are you saying different? Is that what gaslighting is? I'm not sure. Is that the definition? I've never really understood what gaslighting is, but I think it is. It's when people try telling you that you've remembered things all back to front and upside down and new. So anyway, well, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? And as you say, it's I welcome all your thoughts and opinions and your free speech. Just sometimes feels like us YouTubers are not allowed our free speech. With some people who leave comments, I fully support anyone disagreeing with others, but if it gets insulting and it's like someone's being told, shut up, stop talking, that really gets up my nose, actually, quite a lot. That's the best way to keep me talking. I'll never stop. I'll get louder and louder and louder about a subject. And with these lives, I mean, this is a new sort of thing where we can all analyse like the week's events and see what's happened and where this is going. And I love that because I can read your comments and see what you think. And you come up with so many things where I think, I never thought of that before. And it is kind of fascinating. And everybody's thoughts and opinions should be welcome. Good grief. Did you know? I'm sure you do. 1 or 2 monarchs in the past tried telling the people what to do and it didn't end very well at all. Hence the system that we have today. Oh, someone's at the door. Oh. If you'll excuse me a minute, I'll just put you down. Wagwan, I'm filming. Oh, what are you doing today?
Things of which I cannot disclose.
Why? What have you got here? Let's have a look. Oh. These are really big for what you want to do.
No. You see, I only want the ring end on these.
Right. Okay.
I figured my curve is going to be the rings of the ring strands.
And what are you doing with all this? You're going to cut them up with a hacksaw.
So anybody that follows my YouTube channel, Baron Ben II, by the way.
Oh, nice pump, dude. Nice shout.
I'm very slick with it.
I wouldn't bother on my channel. I'm losing subscribers hand over fist every day.
Oh, me too, but that's because I don't post very much.
It's not just that. I know so many people are just losing subscribers left, right, centre. And did you know that when I go live, I get a notification emailed to me telling me I'm going live? And not only that, it tells me to unsubscribe from my own channel.
Have I been gone for 28 minutes?
Must have been.
Fucking
Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Anybody that does follow me knows that I recently changed the brakes, the brake pads, the brake rotors, and the lower ball joints on my front wheels of my car. And I felt like it was a bit of a waste to just throw away all of the old bits. So I threw away most of the bits and kept one rotor, and I thought I'm going to turn that into a clock to show my interest for engineering and mechanics and horology. It's best of both worlds. So I went to the Chinese shop and I got a clock and I took it apart and just for the movement. And I found an old DVD, glued it to the face of the rotor, put the movement on it, and I thought, well, it's got no numbers on it or anything. Now I could go one of 2 ways. I could get an angle grinder and just make indices with an angle grinder, or I could go even more steampunk than that and just grab loads of things from the Chinese shop, anything and everything.
We're going to do a video on wheels.
And a hacksaw. Probably not, no.
Oh, you should
It's
do.
not that interesting.
I think it is.
No.
I'll watch you. Anyway, I'm in the middle.
Look at that, guys. I've got one view. It's my mum.
Hey, no, your dad felt about his flight sim channel.
Oh, you didn't even watch that.
I admit, no, I didn't.
Boring as fuck.
Well, just wasn't my thing.
Take off, stare at the clouds. for 2
Okay,
hours.
Ben. So anyway, we shall be doing more lives. We shall not be silenced, people. We shall ask questions. And that is the way. And also, an awful lot of you guys have answers for people who believe that the monarchy costs more than it brings in. Do you see what I mean? So if you're not allowed to speak and you have to be a good little subject and just keep your mouth shut for His Majesty, Her Majesty, whoever happens to be on the throne, how the hell are we ever going to defend the monarchy or answer awkward questions to people and keep it alive for future generations?
Didn't like the king bring in Starmer or something for a meeting or something, like not too long ago?
I don't know, I don't watch
The
TikTok.
monarchy getting political, basically.
Well,
I read something about it somewhere.
that's one of the big things. Monarchy should not be political, ever. But I do think that if it is true about Prince William bringing in a mechanism where people can have their titles removed, I think that's a brilliant idea. And that is a stratosphere away from people saying you must never criticise the institution of the monarchy, it is the greatest and the biggest. Do you see what I mean? It cannot be put on a total pedestal. People must be allowed to question, and everybody is entitled to their opinion, for, against, and nobody ever has the right to tell you to be quiet or tell you to shut up. So take no notice of anybody who says that, because they're just being silly. Anyway, that's all for me for today. Thank you very much for listening to my bullshit, because honestly, I mean, I don't know jack shit about anything. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and may your God be with you.